Want to get a surprise every month delivered to your doorstep? We've got just what you were looking for. Introducing the Destined to Win Partnership Box. Each month, you'll get hand-picked resources to inspire you and help you grow in your walk with God. Want more? How about knowing that each box supports the efforts of this ministry? Your commitment helps us with our various missions outreach and ensures this broadcast continues to tell the world that with Jesus, they are destined to win. Bet you've never gotten a surprise this good. So what are you waiting on? Call or go online and sign up today.
Today on Destined to Win.
America spends trillions of dollars every year searching for the answer to our poor health. We suffer from diabetes, fatigue, high cholesterol, inflammation, depression, and so much more. We spend hours at the doctor. We prescribe and take billions of pharmaceuticals. We sacrifice our hobbies and our relationships, and we end up feeling worse than before. Studies show that the key to getting control of our life back may be in losing weight and learning to balance our lifestyle. But what do we do when, despite our attempts to eat healthy and exercise, we can't seem to lose the weight, and our symptoms keep getting worse? It's time for us to take action and finally rid ourselves of the diseased lifestyle that has become so normal for us. On today's show, Frank Santora sits with personal trainer and diet coach to the stars, Lynn, as they begin to get to the root of our inability to bring our lives into a balance, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually as well. The solution is found in her LynnFit system, and it could be the key to finally taking control of not just your health, but your relationships, your finances, your happiness, and your success in life. That's all coming up next on Destined to Win.
God says you're destined to win. We gotta turn it around.
My guest today is Lynn. She is my personal trainer, also my personal diet coach. I need a diet coach like some of you are watching today. She's been a trainer to some of the stars, and she's here today to give us some tips of how you and I can get our body in shape. Welcome to the show,
Thank
Lisa.
You for
It's so good
me.
to hear you. First of all, tell us what your title is and what exactly you do.
I am a fitness and metabolic expert, but I work for the kingdom mostly, help people who have a hard time losing weight lose weight, and this is a big problem in today's society.
Well, I know this for a fact because when you and I first met, Lisa came to church here and she saw me up on the platform and she thought to herself, I need to help him lose weight, which is never a good way to kind of think of somebody. But she saw me, I was 262 pounds at the time. I've lost about 60 pounds. And I go up and down a little bit, but for the most part, I've kept it off. And a lot of it has to do with Lisa's help. And so, Lisa, tell us how you would describe my health when you first met me.
Am I supposed to be honest?
You can be honest, yes.
No, your health actually, the hard part with you is you always had really good energy, but you were really overweight. And we're only as strong as our weakest link in our body. And so God does put this in me when I see people like you, like, we got to keep this guy going full speed to help as many people. Yeah. So I just look at it from a movement perspective, but you wanted to lose weight.
Yes. Let me give them a little bit of context. Sometimes we can think, well, this isn't really a spiritual thing. Who cares? The Bible says bodily exercise profits a little, but godliness is profitable unto all things. And so many times Christians kind of dismiss the whole taking care of our body. But there's a lot of scriptures in the Bible that actually talk about taking care of our body being the temple of the Holy Spirit. Romans chapter 12 says that we should present our bodies to God as living sacrifices, holy and acceptable unto Him, which is our reasonable service.
That's right.
There's a whole story in the Bible between Jacob and Esau about actually Esau losing his birthright over the wrong food.
That's right.
Over food. And so another story in the Bible about Daniel and the three Hebrew children who ate a specific diet, and as a result of that diet, they kind of rose head and shoulders above everybody else. And so this is really not just a physical thing.
No, and I
This
have
is a
to be
spiritual
honest,
thing.
I come in through the back door. I always struggled with my weight as a kid. I was depressed, so I looked for sugar. It lifted me up. It did become my God, to be honest with you. And then I finally lost weight and got buffed, and I looked in the mirror, and there was a look on my face, something's still wrong. Now, I wasn't born again, but I was, let's call it a half-baked Christian. You know, I went to church, and I did all the things, but I never realized that you can't separate the body, mind, and spirit. They're yoked together. You cannot separate them. And then I realized it was time for me to go inside. Because no matter how spiritually fit you are, if your back is killing you, you're stuck in bed, or you're overweight and you have high cholesterol and the doctors have you hooked up, you can't work for the kingdom. So I started for the first time to get success with my food when I started to look at it through God's eyes. This is a living sacrifice, and when you're eating Twinkies next time, or whatever it is you eat, he's watching you like, this is how you worship him. What are you bringing to his table?
Yeah, I love the fact that you kind of connected it all, body, soul, and spirit. Sometimes we kind of forget that we are a triune being and that our bodies is the earth suit that the real us lives on the inside. And if we are going to really do God's work to our fullest potential, we have to take care of the earth suit. Matter of fact, what did it for me, and I think this will help people, maybe you can share what did it for you, is all my life I've gone back and forth from the time that I was about maybe 25 on. I know people don't think I'm much older than 25, although the gray beard gives it away.
Yeah.
But from about 25 on, I started to struggle with my weight a lot. Got actually up to the point where I shared I was 262 pounds. I think they're going to show a picture of me at 262 pounds. Please don't repost it anywhere, okay? I don't want this picture getting out too much. We're going to show it to you. And the Lord began to speak to me about opening up multiple campuses. We're in our production campus here in New Milford, Connecticut, but he started talking to me about opening up a campus in New York City.
Yeah, you run around.
One in Atlanta, one in Waterbury, Connecticut. And I said to the Lord, how am I going to do all that? I need more energy to do that.
That's it.
And when the Lord finally showed me that in order for me to accomplish his will, that I needed to take care of my body, that was the trigger for me that gave me the motivation.
That's good. That's a healthy reason.
Looking good didn't give me the motivation, although I like to look good.
Good.
My clothes didn't give me the motivation, although I like my clothes to fit. What gave me the motivation permanently was I need to do this so that I can be my best for God.
That's right.
What was the motivation for you? What do you find is the motivation for some people?
Also, you say this, we've had this discussion, and I love this because I've always felt that I have to eat a lot cleaner than you do to keep my antenna to God up, because if I get into sugar or something I'm not supposed to, my antenna to God, the enemy knows where to get me. Oh, look at the chocolate. And the minute I go there, I can't hear God's voice, and the enemy is full on. So I have to live this holy, godly lifestyle because it keeps my antenna up to him better.
You said, you know, you have to eat cleaner than me. How do people kind of dial in where their boundaries are, and how do you help them do that? And we're going to show people, you have this package here which
you're
kind of
in
talks
this,
about,
by the way.
Yeah, this is, I'm on the front cover. That's me after I lost the 60 pounds or so. And this book is The Metabolic Solution. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Also have Martha Stewart here because you trained her as well. And then let's get into the nitty gritty, the metabolic solution. Okay, what is it? How does it work? Give us some tidbits.
Well, I'll tell you why it happened. You saw Martha Stewart on the cover. She said something, by the way, all CEOs say this: I have to starve to lose weight. I began to study metabolism and what kind of gas makes it go faster, because not everybody needs metabolic boosting. But once you hit 50, I'm not speaking prophetically, but you're going to need some help in the metabolism department about how clean you eat to boost it, because the rules change. And so you can't keep thinking you're going to do what you did and get a new result. You've got to change it. But the metabolism, really simply, if God grew it and you can pick it from the earth, it's good for your metabolism. Pretty simple.
So how do you, so let's say you have somebody who, like me, I was 262 pounds and my metabolism was not working optimally. How do you get your metabolism to start working? Because there's a lot of people who feel like, you know what, I try, I diet, I still can't lose weight.
Yeah.
So how do you get the metabolism
Well, I'm
revved
going
up?
to tell you today that we have more control than we think. And I was that person. I didn't think it was in the cards for me. But that 262 pounds, this is 5 pounds of body fat, right? If we put this on the belly, this now, here's where it changes. And we took God's living sacrifice and we changed it. By putting this fat on our bellies, this spits out hormones and starts to change insulin levels. When our insulin levels, by the way, the devil's smiling because he loves that stuff. When the insulin levels go up, our weight loss stops dead in its tracks. So that's where a little bit of tricks, drinking a protein shake without fruit, believe it or not, in it, or milks, helps boost our metabolism. People don't realize God put out a perfect vessel. It heals by itself. We damage it and cause this stuff to happen. Like, we're so human, we get out there and do these wrong things. By turning it off in the morning, you're still human, you're going to fight with it, but it's not going to be the same.
And I saw how it changed. I mean, it was difficult to stop having the bacon, egg, and cheese, to stop having the bagel with the cream cheese or the donut on the side. It was difficult to stop doing that on a consistent basis. But when I did, and I had the protein shake, I found myself not getting hungry until about lunchtime.
Shocking.
At that point. And then what I would do is I would refuel again on protein again. So I would have some grilled chicken, on a Caesar salad or something like that. And so that really does turn that switch on and turn that switch. In the book, you talk a lot about how to make a great tasting protein shake.
Look, I'm Italian like you. You've got to, people say, what do you do? I still cook. I just change what's on the other end of the fork. Because I think we are supposed to, like, how do you know when it's gluttony and it's too much and you've gone too far? When you're celebrating and eating foods he gave you in appreciation, you're dining. You're not usually binging. And it should stay that way. So that should never go away.
One of the things, too, since we're on the subject of bagels and carbs, is I had to find some type of substitute for me to have some carbs and some bread.
That's right.
I actually created a recipe that I shared with you
by the way.
About how to create a carb-free bread. And so what I would actually do is I'd make it in loaves, and it's real simple. It's in the book. I'd slice it up in the morning and have some toast along with my protein drink, but it wasn't carbs, it was protein, but it still gave me that bread.
It's all about replacements. And I think you would say that when you wake up and you feel that, it's like you put the right gas in your Ferrari, because God put you here for a reason, to bust the Christians up to him. Well, if you're sick on the couch, falling asleep, which is how I am under carbs, you can't do kingdom work. And so I think we all really have to come to Jesus and say, like, is there an area you want me to work on? What is it? Reveal it. And he will. And then you just have to know that he's going to give you the tools you need to get out of it.
We get the metabolism revved up,
with
number
the right
one.
fuel.
With the right fuel, but specifically, there's that old adage, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. We've got to shut off the sugar trigger right out of the gate.
Shut it off.
And the way we shut it off right out of the gate is the most important meal, breakfast, protein up for breakfast.
That's
and a complete protein shake, great way to start the day.
That's right.
Again, recipes, peanut butter shakes and coffee shakes
and I
and
think
mocha
the thing
shakes.
people miss about the shakes is that we are so busy. Like you just mentioned, all the places, they were all fast food. Why? Because you're on your way to work, you're in a rush. Convenience and affordability, these are less expensive. And also, let's get in the healthcare issue for a minute. You want to save money and fix your health? Quit moaning about the doctors and put this proactively into your health.
I love it, save money, because I was spending on average about $7, $8, maybe up to $10 a day on my way to work, picking up breakfast.
Right, just breakfast.
People don't realize, people say a lot of times, well, I don't know where I'm going to get money from. Well, we spend on fast food more than we think. Picking up that coffee, that bagel, that donut on the way to work. A thing of protein like this.
It looks really expensive.
When you compare it to the cost of breakfast on it's nothing. It's a way of saving money. So we shut off the sugar trigger because sugar begets sugar.
Oh, yeah.
Your body continues to crave.
For most people, like for me, if I don't have those amino acids, my lights don't go on in my brain. Therefore, my antennas struggling to get connection with God. And so it's multifaceted. Kills cravings and keeps me out of that, but also allows me the energy to do what I need to do, where I really have struggled with energy in my life, believe it or not.
You talked about the brain and how bad carbs can hurt our ability to think. But our brain does need good carbs.
They do need good carbs.
What I like about, for instance, your shake is that it has some good carbs in it as well.
Yeah, people don't realize it has just enough carbohydrates in it, because carbs carry protein into the cell, that without those two in balance combination, it doesn't work effectively. And so zero, it's all about balance. It's not about zero carbs, it's about the right balance.
All right, so we get the metabolism because it's the metabolic solution.
Now you feel so good you want to move.
Right, so we got to get this thing fired up.
That's right.
And when we get it fired up, we can actually consume more of the right stuff than we think.
Totally. And also for me, I really struggled with energy, believe it or not. And so all of a sudden I felt good. And it was like when my food was in order, my whole life fell in order. And I could get here and I was receptive to God and I could hear it. And I could, if he had a purpose for me, I could go do it. Where before, depressed, it was like, when's the next meal?
You mentioned something right there, depressed.
Yeah.
Sugar in the wrong quantities,
totally,
wrong carbs,
the wrong foods.
Actually what it does is it enhances depression.
Correct.
And that's why a lot of
a
times
vicious
when we're
cycle.
eating unhealthy, we think that the only reason why we feel depressed is because we're not looking good. But actually something is happening at the cellular level, if you will.
All
You're more of an expert to be able to explain that.
At every cell in our body. And so I hear all day as a fitness expert, but I don't feel good enough to. Well, they go together. When you're putting the right gas in your car, you actually feel so good. Like I went from not being able to get off the couch to I have a hard time sitting on it now. Like I sit on my couch once a year. That's very new for me, and it's definitely his purpose, because think of how many people I can get out there in season. And I think to all the Christians sitting there like I'm busy and I'm missions trips, you know what? This is a decision, and you have to decide. On the way here I was listening to Romans 12. Decide to commit your body, this living sacrifice. It's a decision you make. You get to decide what fuel you're putting in his temple.
And the benefits of walking around with a happiness, a joy. Everybody's, how do I be happy? How do I be happy? You know, the joy of the Lord is our strength.
That's right.
A lot of times we can pray those scriptures over and over again, and we can do all sorts of good things to make ourselves happy. But if we're getting the wrong fuel in our body, at an emotional level, at an endorphin level, at a cellular level, what's happening is we are triggering depression in our body that we can't pray away because we're doing something to kind of counteract that
and
thing.
And I take really for granted, like if I was going to make up these little devil cards and go around and put them at all the fast food restaurants, every time you open a Twinkies box, there he is, because it pretty much is that simple. Any food that's causing your body, you know, just not to feel good, you have to see he knows your weakest links.
When we talk about those things, you know, it's almost like, oh, you tell me I can't ever have a piece of cake.
No, not true.
But here's what you taught me, is that when you get your metabolism moving, imagine like a fire that's burning.
This is the best part.
Right? Imagine a fire is burning. How do you get a fire started? You don't start with a big log. You start with kindling, right? And you get that fire burning and burning. Once the fire is blazing, if you throw a big log on top of it, it'll slow down the fire, but it'll still burn it up. And so what happens is once you get your metabolism in the right place, then you can have that occasional, and I think that's the important thing, balance, right?
Yes.
Then you can have that occasional. So what you show them, and I have a teaching that goes along with this called Choose Health.
Yes.
And what we're going to show everybody is how do you get the metabolism moving, so that way when you have that occasional piece of cake or whatever the case may be, is it's not like a guilt cake or anything like that. It's in moderation. The Bible says do all things in moderation, and you're able to kind of live life.
And he does give us that spirit of control and discipline. But the reality is, the best part is it's all about celebrations with family. Most people who struggle with their weight are eating, like they say, what you eat in private shows up in public. And this is like, seek God in those moments instead. Fill up there, because go have fun with people and eat. Not with you, though. You eat a little too much for me. And find those zones so you're celebrating, because it's a very different reception. Your body receives the food differently and you're in the right place.
You know, so one thing is we've got to fuel the body with the right stuff, and especially in the morning. Especially in the morning. By the way, the number one thing consumed for breakfast is bread.
That's right.
It's the number one thing. That's a big change that we can make right there, is fuel the body with the right stuff. Protein in the morning, which kind of keeps you full longer and doesn't turn on the sugar thing. We can do that. Second thing that we can do, we've already kind of shared, is coaching.
That's right.
All right, so let's talk about this a little bit.
The miracle of a mentor.
You are a miracle, you're a mentor, you're a coach.
Yep.
A lot of times we kind of feel it's okay to get a coach for so many different things, right? A business coach is okay, you know, a spiritual coach is okay, and we kind of feel embarrassed to reach out for help.
It's humbling.
I just want you to know, I confess, I need help in this area.
Me too.
I need accountability in this area. And so one of the other ways that we can really make sure that we keep our body in shape is by getting the right coaching.
That's right.
How do you help people with that?
And that's an important point, because full confession here, I help coach people because instead of getting depressed and on my pity pot, I get out of myself and into someone else's way and help them. It's been the best thing I've ever done for myself. So I'll just text random, you know, God speaks to me and I'll text you like, how do you know what I'm doing? I just do it maybe because I'm having a rough moment and it gets me out of myself and into yours, but also your coach cannot be your eating partner. Do you know, like the person who's going, you need somebody who's going to be really honest, who loves you enough to say, girlfriend, when it's a whole bag of Oreos, that's a little too much, who loves you enough to tell you, even when you're going to kick and scream, the truth. Those are people who are going to help you really win this race.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. And also material, you know, like I find that when I want to improve in an area, that I need to feed my
Submerge.
mind and soul on that. That's why we
Yep.
kind of have the book with all the practical steps for some of the practical things that everybody can do to get the metabolism revved up,
Yeah.
right? Recipes for how you can make food taste good. There's a diet program in
There
here.
is. I mean, this is a comprehensive, this was God's work, because sitting on my butt doing this, but this has everything from recipes also to the nitty gritty, like for moms who are home with kids who are coming apart at the seams. Stop, hit pause, breathe, a serenity prayer when life is so busy, you feel like God is so far, but the Oreos are right there, or
Yep.
whatever is calling you. It gives you practical in the moment, but I didn't come up with the name Lose 1 Pound a Day. You know, we had that debate. You see this on the cover, right?
Yes.
This changed. This used to be the new way to lose weight.
Yeah.
This came because people were writing in saying, I did your plan and lost a pound a day.
Yeah.
Now, it is doable if your calories are so over here,
Right.
but the reality is this is your game. It takes as long as it takes. It's about feeling really good,
Right.
PMS, physical, mental, spiritual.
Right. You know, the other thing, so people will think a lot of times, if I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to have to spend hours in the gym.
Wrong.
Okay. And people actually think, and I want you to kind of talk to some of these myths, that the longer they spend in the gym, the better off they're going to be.
Right.
Talk to us about that.
Remember how buffed we got you? And by the way, I was one of those. I'm going to use the word gym addict. Now they refer to it exercise bulimia. People are eating, they're doing paleo, and then they work it off in the gym. That's not godly. It's just really a false god. But when you're eating correctly, believe it or not, and Donald Trump is one of these, he refuses to exercise, but he's getting his 10,000 steps. That's a pound a week. So 10,000 steps you might be getting if you just get up every hour, drink water, and go to the bathroom. As long as you're nailing your numbers and your calories are balanced, the reality is you don't really have to work out in the gym. If you have more, like maybe you want things a little tighter and more precise than other people, push-ups. But this has a workout in it, and the reality is I learned from my guru who was, you know, world-class champions he worked with, 30 minutes a day is what most pros spend on the weights. So why are people in the real world spending 2 hours?
How important is it to drink water?
Oh, huge. Water is the number one, keeping the brain fired. Also, a couple of things now we're living so much longer, people don't realize we're not drinking enough fluids, we don't drink enough water, and in order to stay out of a nursing home so you can see the world that God puts you in, you have to be able to get in and out of a chair. I sit in church and I see people like they're dragging up, and I have my mother now, she's 72, she's like, up to the thing. Now, she doesn't feel good. We have to kind of drag her, but when you have a mentor, you need someone that's going to pick you up by the arm and help carry you until you've got the speed to do it yourself. You don't need someone to go, let us go get the wheelchair. So put all those things in place where if you're supposed to drink 10 bottles of water and you put them out on there and you're struggling with sugar, when you're done with the water, you can get to the sugar. Distraction is a powerful tool is where I'm going with this. So whether it's moving to keep yourself out of what you're not supposed to do, drinking water to stay out of the food bin, you have more control over your health situation than you think.
Isn't it true that a lot of times when we think we're hungry, we're actually thirsty? And what water does is actually turns off the hunger switch because we don't interpret the thirst as the hunger and go to eat something.
That's
so
right.
that's one of the benefits of water.
You can go a long time without food, but water you can't. In fact, I was listening to your sermon the other day. I always play it in the background when I'm working at the gym. And this stuff, if you have this stuff, you've got stored food. So you could go probably 30 days and not eat. I'm not recommending it, but what would happen is your body would dip in and burn this fat for fuel. But you can't go a day without water.
See, here's the thing.
Yeah.
We're not trying to share anything like that's this fad or this, you know, this miracle. Diet,
Sustainable.
what kind of diet? Show you how to do it. Exercise, what kind of exercise? Smart exercise, right? Diet, exercise.
That's right.
And so what I love about all this stuff that we're putting together, it brings it all together. The spiritual component, some of the natural things that we can do, easy things that we can do, the workouts. Maybe you're out there today, you need just a quick, you know, you want to get started. You want to jumpstart things. There's the Lose 1 Pound a Day eating plan, exercise plan. All that is in here. In the book, show you how to make the food taste good, keep it healthy. It's been featured on Fox News. You've trained Martha Stewart.
Yes.
You know, just some great things. Dr. Squat
Yes.
used to be one of your
Yes.
mentors. So
Yep.
from a exercise point of view, a lot of great material in here, plus the spiritual component
Yes.
of this. And so we really want to encourage you to get today's bundle that we have for you. It'll help you. It's an investment in you. It also helps the ministry to keep getting the Word of God out there in not only spiritual ways, but practical ways.
Yes.
Because what good is the Word of God unless we can apply it to
That's
our
right.
lives? It's a great program, great bundle that we have for you today. Lisa, thank you so much
Thanks
for being on the
having
show
me.
today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for
goodbye.
tuning in. It's been great to have you. As always, remember, with Jesus, you are destined to win.
We search for solutions to control our weight, answers to inflammation, sickness, and disease. We spend trillions on over-the-counter pills and pharmaceuticals to deal with problems that, in fact, might be a result of what we eat and how often we exercise. But what if the cure to our modern-day ailments and illnesses isn't in the next miracle medical breakthrough, but in information and wisdom that has been transforming the lives of men and women, young and old, for thousands of years? What if you could discover the power to live longer, live better, and experience life with more vitality, simply by giving your body the clean, healthy energy it needs to respond to life's demands the way God intended? Your time is now. Time to look better and time to feel better. As you saw on today's program, God wants you to walk in total divine health. Lisa Lynn is a personal trainer and diet coach to the stars who has been serving God's kingdom by helping others align their body, mind, and soul. In today's exclusive TV offer, you will receive her best-selling book, The Metabolism Solution. If you have tried every diet and workout program, and no matter what you do, you just can't lose weight, this book is for you. The Metabolism Solution has over 3 decades of research, knowledge, recipe, and tips from Lisa's personal experience as she journeyed toward her own goal of radical weight loss and health. The results you will see are sure to inspire you as you begin to bring your life back into balance. For your love gift of just $40, you will not only get Lisa's book, The Metabolism Solution, but you will also receive Frank Santora's life-changing 4-CD series, The New Normal. Join Frank Santora as he challenges us to reject our bad habits and choose new life patterns to move us to a new normal for a better life. This series will walk you through the steps to renewing your mind, choosing vision, choosing health, and so much more. So that's the book, The Metabolism Solution, plus Frank Santora's 4-CD series, The New Normal, all for your gift today of just $40 toward the life-changing works of Frank Santora Ministries. Plus, as a free bonus, Frank Santora will also include the complete uncut interview with Lisa Lynn. There's simply not enough time on the program to air the complete interview, but there is so much behind-the-scenes information you missed. This DVD is a must-have. Count the money you spend on fad diets, antacids, lost time, and lost opportunity, and know that this small investment is worth it today to try something that is guaranteed to change your life. End poor health and yo-yo diets. Begin sleeping better, feeling stronger, and looking healthy by gaining the knowledge and tools you must have to rescue and revolutionize your health and that of your family and loved ones. Call now.
We hope you've enjoyed Pastor Frank's message today. We want to encourage you to continue on your journey as you discover God's purpose for your life. With your gift, you make all of this possible so that we can see lives changed all over the world. Join us every week for Destined to Win and visit us online at franksantora.cc.
If you're in the New York City or Connecticut area, we invite you to visit us at one of our locations. Or join us online every Sunday at faithchurch.cc/live. On behalf of Pastor Frank and from all of us at Faith Church, God bless you, we love you, and we'll see you next week.